Hey everyone, and welcome back to AI on the Rocks. Again, my name is Jen. This is Jameson here, and today we have a really fun show for you. But before we get started, I just wanted to thank you guys all for being a part of it. It really means the world to me, and it's been really fun doing this AI experiment with you. I hope you've been enjoying this show so far. Let me know if there's any input you guys have on different things you'd like to see. But before that, let's get into the show, right? So the show today is called the Loaf of Love. So we're talking about bread today. And the drink is going to be called the Loaf Lifter. So today's warm and fuzzy story is going to be all about Paddy Nolan. He was a baker in Ringsend, Dublin, Ireland. And before we get to his story, it's cocktail time, right? Okay, so today the Loaf Lifter is going to be quite the cocktail. And as always, Jameson's going to tell you what's in it as I work it up. Stay tuned.
Here's the recipe for the Loaf Lifter Cocktail inspired by Paddy Nolan. 1.5 ounces Irish cream liqueur, 1 ounce hazelnut cream liqueur, 0.5 ounces amaretto liqueur, 2 dashes chocolate bitters. If using a chocolate syrup rim, moisten the rim of a coupe glass with a small amount of syrup. In a cocktail shaker, combine the Irish cream, hazelnut cream, amaretto, and chocolate bitters. Add ice to the shaker and shake the ingredients together vigorously. Strain the mixture into the prepared coupe glass, discarding the ice. If desired, garnish the cocktail with a dollop of whipped cream or a sprinkle of cocoa powder. Bingo! And there you have it, the Loaf Lifter, inspired by Paddy Nolan's kind heart.
All right, guys. Well, if that's not the prettiest cocktail, I don't know what is. It looks awesome. Let's try it. Wow. That's so good. So it tastes just like one of those chocolate covered cherries, but it's even better because it's alcoholic, right? Yes. So it's like one of those assorted alcohol chocolates, but you can drink it. All right, guys, back to the story. So today's story is all about Paddy Nolan. Who was Paddy Nolan? He was the breadsman of Ringsend. He was a local Dublin hero, and he was around in the 1950s. He was a local baker in the Ringsend district, and he ran Nolan's Bakery on Bridge Street. Times were tough post-war, guys. Rationing lingered. Bellies were often empty. So someone like Paddy Nolan doing the things that he did was a pretty cool thing. You guys, Paddy was a wiry fella, and he always had a flour-dusted apron. But I think that's a good sign of a good baker, don't you? Let us know in the comments. If you're a baker and your apron is always flour-dusted, does that mean that you're a good baker? I don't know. But not only was he a good baker, he was a great soul as well. So he actually, every single night, whatever leftover bread he had, he would actually take in his beat up old bike and he would load up all the bread that wasn't sold for that day. He'd load up the brown soda and batch loaves and whatever didn't sell. And then he would pedal all around Ringsend, knocking on doors of families he knew were struggling. Jameson, do you know any of Paddy's stories? Maybe you remember him from when you were in town?
So, there's this widow living on Thorncastle Street, and she's got 5 young'uns to take care of, all on her own. One day she finds a sack of bread on her step, thinking it's a miracle, but it turns out it's Paddy who's been leaving it there every morning for a month. Paddy's been quietly looking out for her, you know, his way of being kind without making a fuss. Now, there's also this lad who tries to nick a loaf from Paddy's shop, but Paddy catches him in. Instead of calling the Garda or getting angry, Paddy surprises the lad. He sends him home with not 1, but 2 loaves of bread, his way of showing some kindness. Paddy knows the lad's probably just hungry, so he gives him a little extra, you know, without making a big deal out of it. Paddy's just showing the lad that there's another way, a way that involves understanding and compassion instead of anger and punishment. It's Paddy's way of teaching a lesson without ever raising his voice.
Word spread about Paddy's good deeds. He slushed off the praises. He said it's just bread, not gold. But locals say that he fed at least half of Ringsend poor from the 50s to 63. Unfortunately, Paddy passed away in 63, but the Irish press ran a story that said, the baker who gave more than he took. Neighbors always said he was a saint without a halo. He's as real as a cobblestone he rode over, and he's an inspiration to us all. If that doesn't inspire you to go bake some bread and give it to some homeless person on the street, I don't know what does. All right, guys, if you can, do something kind for somebody else this weekend. That's what these stories are all about. I think I'm going to go and bake some bread. Again, guys, we do need you to subscribe so that we can keep this going. And until next time, have a great weekend. Cheers.